Okay. Hi, everybody. Hi. Thank you for attending to my presentation today. My research has been changing the title a lot, and right now the title that we have is Strategies of Community Engagement in Coral Reef Conservation. He is my advisor, Professor Martin Main. Everybody's hearing me okay?
Yes.
Perfect. And I also want to take advantage of this opportunity to thank him for all his support and for his willingness to help me to develop my ideas and support me in the process. Um, what's happening? Okay, this is a little bit of outline of what I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to do an introduction. I'm going to share with you the research framework that I'm using for my research. I'm also present my goals, the research questions that I focus on, the methods, and some of the preliminary results. As many of you probably know, coral reefs has been decreasing dramatically during the last 5 decades. There are many natural and anthropic threats that are degrading the quality of the water, and that has been having effect on these organisms because they are super sensitive of any change of temperature, salinity, and all this synergic effects has been decreasing dramatically, plus effects of climate change and also acidification of the oceans. And this has motivated many organizations around the world and in the Caribbean to uh, conduct actions to either mitigate those threats or generate other actions. And one of this, let's say, the most common one that is kind of trending now is develop active coral reef restoration, which means they cut little pieces of the healthy corals, they grow them up in semi-controlled conditions. When they have a size and they are strong enough, they literally outplanting them on areas that has been having a bad quality of coral reefs, and in that way they restore the areas. One of the strategies that many of these organizations are using to support the Arctic coral reef restoration is engage communities, because in that way they can increase the workforce and make better and long-lasting results along the time, and they can literally restore more area by engaging communities. I also want to clarify a couple of terms that I'm using on my research regarding community engagement. The definition of community engagement that I'm using is the approaches to involve communities in the co-management of the natural resources with they cohabit, understanding co-management as the shared management authority among users or community groups, and community as a group of people that share spatial, occupational, cultural, or other interests. And it's important when we think about community also to include the wider social and environmental context and the networks with external actors. Community engagement is required to achieve the management of many environmental issues, and almost every country in the world has implemented a form of policy related to community engagement in natural resource management. The research framework that I'm using is the community engagement principles developed by Carter. He and his team has been working on this for more than 10 years, but they published this paper that I'm focused on 2022. One of these principles, the first one, is to develop a commitment to intrinsic values about people, the natural endowments, and their agency, and also develop an empathetic attitude along with other interpersonal skills. Also conduct a city as understand the situational awareness to building trust and achieving inclusion. And they recommend the use of qualitative methods to as a useful technique for inclusive engagement. The fifth principle is to develop a participatory monitoring, evaluation, and learning that could enhance reflection and collaboration among the communities and the agencies working on the natural resource management, and also develop a deep commitment and ownership during the whole process of the engagement. My research goal is to assess community-based coral reef restoration programs. I'm focused on 3 marine protected areas, one in United States, which is the Florida Keys National Marine Sanctuary. Another is the Laughing Cay National Park in Belize and the Seaflower Biosphere Reserve in Colombia. I'm identifying the strategies that these organizations are using to engage communities. And my research objectives are assess the programs that they are using for promoting community engagement in CRC, which is coral reef conservation, identify motivations and barriers of communities in coral reef conservation, and analyze the data obtained and develop a community engagement guidelines to address a suite of stakeholders and engage communities. I also have some outreach objectives, which are conduct workshops with partners organizations and local community members to identify community engagement strategies. And also develop a science communication campaign to share the project activities and its results. And my final outreach goal, when I have it done, I'm going to share it the model that I'm planning to develop, the community engagement model, through this community of practice with restoration practitioners among the International Coral Reef Society and the Reef Futures and the Resilience Network organizations. The Reef Resilience Network, sorry. My research questions are, the first one is, what are the strategies used to engage communities in restoration programs? Who are the target audiences that the restoration programs are engaging? What motivates community members to participate in coral reef conservation? And what are the barriers that communities face that could hinder their participation? I have the IRB approval already for my research. This is the IRB number. I also have the IRB approval for Colombia and for Belize. If you guys want to know about that, feel free to contact me if you need support in the process. Regarding the method itself, the first method that I use once that I'm in the field is I conduct participant observation. I spend 2 or 3 weeks with the programs and participate of their activities. And that helps me first to be closer to them, because then I'm going to be interviewing them, but also I understand what are their approaches, how they are engaging the community, what are the activities that they are carrying out. After that, in each of the study cases, I developed 20 in-depth interviews, 8 with restoration practitioners. There's one interview model for the restoration practitioners and another one for key stakeholders. Among my key stakeholders, I have politicians, researchers, environmental educators, fishers, which is the non-gender word for fishermen, dye operators, and professors. I'm also conducting a SWOT analysis, which with the community members, in which we identify the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats of the program that I am evaluating. And then I am transcribing, translating, coding, and analyzing my data. This is my first study case in the Seaflower Biosphere Reserve. Is running by Corales de Paz, Coralina, Blue Indigo Foundation. They focus on trained fishers as restoration technicians, and they are accompanied by biologists. As you can see here, they are literally, all of them are fishers and community members. There's just one biologist. on the boat, and they are the ones in charge of setting up the nurseries, putting the corals to grow, taking care of the corals, do the maintenance of the corals and cleaning. They are mainly funded by Conservation International and the Environmental Ministry. This program started in 2017. It's a relatively new program. Well, I will share about this later on. Regarding the Laughing Bear Cay, which is in the program in Belize, and is running by just one organization called Fragments of Hope. This is the only program in the Caribbean that literally certified tour guides as restoration technicians. That make me wants to work with them, and I wanted to work and collaborate with Fragments of Hope because they are really community-based organization, like doing actions and activities like with the community itself. They are funded mainly by grants and donations. And this program started in 2006. And you can see here, even kids of the community are participated on the actions. And that is also a way to engage the whole community. Regarding my interviews, I'm using the software called MassQDA. I'm using it to transcribe, translate, identify, and code the interviews. I already did 2 coding cycles for 4 interviews between Belize and Colombia, 20 on each. My code system so far has 21 codes and 13 subcodes, and I managed to code 784 codes. I'm going to focus now on the code strategies to engage because it's my most common code, and also because it helps me to answer my research question, what are the strategies used to engage communities in restoration programs? I organized this 121 segment codes in 21 categories. Here I'm bringing to you the 12 most common. I'm going to elaborate like the main ones in the following slide. One of the most common strategy to engage mentioned by both key stakeholders and restoration practitioners was install local capacity. The interview believed that activities should be carried out by locals. They highlight the importance of formal certifications for the restoration technicians and the trainer strategies. I want to clarify that I'm bringing quotes here, but the pictures are not related with the comments that I'm bringing. And then in the voice of one of the practitioners, they say they like more when the thoughts are given by locals. When an outsider comes, the conception is, who are you to come in here and tell us about what we should do or not do? So when they see someone from the community, it's much more powerful than an external foreigner. The second most common strategy to engage is that I found it out so far is invite and teach face-to-face. The interview mentioned that face-to-face engagement is more effective than other forms of communication. The quote that I bring it to you to share this is, with social media, you reach more people, but it's not the same as a face-to-face engagement. You know, it's better to get the feel of your community. When you're involved with the people, you can get their expression and truly understand how they feel. Okay. Another strategy that I want to share with you is visit schools and take a
That Spanish shit, you fucking dope as fuck. That fucking accent. Look at you, like, no. Tell the baby come back to me. Stop playing.
I'm sorry.
Hello? Can you mute?
Guys, sorry, can you mute, please?
You can mute them both here.
Thank you.
I think it's.
Thank you, Anita. Okay, the third strategy that I want to share with you today is visit schools and take students on field trips.
Are you
they
sharing the screen? Or did you stop sharing?
no, you cannot see it now.
No, can you share it again?
Sure.
Oh, here it is. No, you sharing. Let me
Oh,
find it.
I just stopped.
Okay, share it now then.
Y-
There you go. That's good.
Okay.
Continue.
Okay. The third strategy that I found the most common is visit schools and take students on field trips. The interview considered that engaging and inspiring joy is an effective strategy for both educating parents and next generations to conserve corals. The quote that I'm bringing to reflect on this is after the field trip, the kid is so excited, and because the parents love their kid, they're going to listen more to their kid than they will to us because they think that we are just trying to impose our way on them. And the last strategy that I want to share with you today is to conduct dynamic and practical ways to engage. The interview highlights experiential learning as an effective way of reaching both children and adults. For example, underwater photography courses, diving courses, puzzles, drawing contests, and field trips. They mention all of those during the interviews. And the quote that I want to reflect on about this strategy is I'm going to talk sincerely. When I joined the program, I was in environmental education, and that thought they give to the children was almost boring. They repeated the same thing. They did not do it didactic. So I think it's a mistake. When you want to address young people and children, you have to do it in a way that is fun. Okay, as a part of my outreach goals, my preliminary results, I'm conducting this social media and science communication campaign. It's called Ocean Guardians, and the goal is to highlight the role of communities in coral reef conservation. I have been sharing some posts among those two social medias, and I want to share with you a little bit of what I'm sharing on the social medias. I when I'm in the field, when I'm conducting actions with my or the organizations that I'm collaborating with, sometimes they also tag me on their evaluations. This is part of the SWOT analysis that we can do on the Seaflower Biosphere Reserve with the communities. I'm also sharing it sometimes like which one is the Ocean Guardian of the Week, which are mainly community members that are participating on conservation, restoration actions on on the coral reefs. They, for example, are doing medicine for the reefs, and this is an outplanting activity. They are all community members in charge of outplant the corals that are ready to be outplanted. I'm also conducting the workshops. I share on those workshops my field notes, like as the most preliminary results that I have, and kind of put everybody talk together regarding what I got from the interviews. And at the end of that, I'm also doing the SWOT analysis with them. And then it's a way to kind of have a little bit of confrontations between the different key stakeholders and the restoration practitioners and how they can overcome to whatever is not working well. Some of the take-home message that I want to share with you today is that if you want to conduct a successful community program, you should first install local capacity, formally certify your technicians, either if it's for the water or for the land. Use train-the-trainer strategies, formally recognize trainers, engage face-to-face, educate job, and use experiential learning. I also like the big take-home message that I want that you have today is like The successful strategies mentioned by both stakeholders and restoration practitioners are based on building trusting relationships between the practitioners, the programs, and the communities. My next steps for my research are continue reviewing the interviews, complete the study cases, and my final goal is to develop a community engagement guidelines model to maximize community engagement in coral reef restoration. And I also want to thank to my committee and my advisor, different organizations that have been funding my PhD itself and also my research, and the organizations that have been working on collaborating with me on this research. Thank you for today for listening to me. And this is my email, and these are the science communication campaign that I'm conducting if you want to follow it. Thank you.